Hello everyone. So here in this session, we will be having a very quick revision of the budget of this year, of course with respect to agriculture only. Although this budget was presented in the month of February, but still it becomes very important for us to revise this before appearing in our examination, because this particular section, you might find one or two questions very often, okay? Important statistics only. So this PDF, I have included all the statistics, all the new initiatives with respect to agriculture and the allocations to different ministries in agriculture that is present in this PDF. Let me tell you the important one that you should remember. Okay, first one is the GDP growth rate, the nominal GDP growth rate for the year 25-26 last year. It is still the provisional estimate. It is not the actual figure. There might be some changes, decimal changes in the final figure, okay, but still provisional estimates are also asked. Okay, so this is the latest. Okay, this was not presented in the budget, but these things are talked in the budget. So the latest figure is this. Okay, the 8.9% is the nominal GDP growth rate till now according to provisional estimates, and the real GDP growth rate is 7.7% for the year 25-26. Okay, real GDP growth rate, I think you are aware of the difference between nominal and real GDP. Even if you are not aware, no need to worry. Just remember these figures, okay? One more thing that you need to be aware of is that in calculation of real GDP, the base year now is 2022. Earlier, it used to be 2011 as the base year. So the base year has been changed. It keeps on changing after every 10 years, okay? It keeps on changing. Size of nominal GDP, this is also important. It is 346.3 lakh crore. Size of real GDP for the last year, provisional estimate, it is 323.12 lakh crore. Okay, you can see here that the value of the real GDP is always less than the value of the nominal GDP, which is very obvious because nominal GDP is calculated by calculating the values of the product produced in the country in that year, the current value of the product. Okay? But the real GDP is calculated on the value of the total product produced in the current year. But the price of the product that is taken into account is the price that was in some previous base year. So the base year for 22-23 is base year for this year is 22-23. Okay, earlier it used to be 2011. So here we do not take the inflation into account. Okay, but here we take the inflation. Okay, every year. On the current price of the good, GDP is calculated. In real GDP, on the GDP is calculated on the basis of the some base year, previous base year. Obviously, with every year, the inflation adds on. So therefore, the nominal GDP is always higher than the real GDP. Okay, that's not essential. You need to remember this only. Okay. Now the estimated GDP for this year, 26-27, according to the economic survey, GDP growth rate. Real GDP growth rate is 6.5 to 7.2%. Although many institutions predict or estimate the GDP growth rate, but the most important figure is the figure that is presented in the economic survey. So this is the important one. Expected growth rate is 10%, okay, for this year. So all these figures are important. Okay, size of the budget of this year is 53.47 lakh crore. Size of the budget is equal to the expenditure that government is going to take, and expenditure is equal to the receipt. So government will expend only the money that it receives now. So total receipt, total expenditure, and the size of budget are the same thing. It is 53.47 lakh crore. Okay. Next important figure here is your fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit target for this year is 4.3%. Okay. 4.3% of GDP. Okay. Now budget allocation to Ministry of Agriculture, very important figure. It is 1.4 lakh crore. Okay. Budget allocation to Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying is 8,915 crore. And for food processing, not that important. Total expenditure in agriculture and allied activity. Total expenditure. Okay. Irrespective of ministries. Total expenditure is 1.62 lakh crore. This is important, and this one is important, and this one is also important. Okay. Next is the allocations to different ministries. So many schemes are different schemes. Okay, so many schemes are there, but I would suggest you to essentially remember the allocations to these one. Okay, these are the new entries. Okay, VB Ramji Yojana has replaced the Manrega, and the allocation to this is 95,692 crore. Bharat Vistar is also a new scheme that was announced in this budget only. The allocation for this is 150 crore, and high value agriculture was also announced in this budget only, and the allocation to this is 350 crore. Apart from this, PMGKY, you may remember 2.27 crore, because this is also equal to the food subsidy. Amount spent on PMGKY, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Okay, you know what is the Garib Kalyan Yojana? It is under this, the government distributes free of cost food grains to the eligible beneficiaries under NFSM, National Food Security Act. Okay, this Yojana has been linked with the National Food Security Act, under which free of cost food grain will be distributed to the eligible beneficiaries till 2028. So till then, the budget allocations to this scheme will remain equal to the total food subsidy that government gives. Okay, so 2.27 is important. Other important schemes that you might remember, that is crop insurance scheme. It has completed 10 years. Okay, another one is Asha, because this was mentioned somewhere recently in news. It was because government has decided to procure 100% of pulses and oil seeds. Okay, so allocation to this has increased 7,200 crore. Okay, that's all. Next important thing is the subsidy. So subsidy, there are three datas. One is the actual data. Everything has been calculated for this year, and the actual data is total subsidy is 4.22 lakh crore given by government. For this budget, for this year 26-27, government intends, that's why it is an estimate. Government intends to spend 4.54 lakh crore in the subsidy. Out of 4.54 lakh crore, 2.27 lakh crore will go into food subsidy. Okay, you know that. Here you can see here, no? Same figure, 2.27 lakh crore. Okay, that is food subsidy. It is the highest chunk of the total subsidy. Okay, sometimes it might ask that how much percentage of the total subsidy is invested in food subsidy. You can just calculate, or how much percentage of the total subsidy is invested in fertilizer subsidy. Okay, so the exact value is 1.7 lakh crore. You can calculate from this. Okay, so these three are the most important one: budget estimate, revised estimate, and actual estimate. All three are important. The most important one is this and this. Formula is, if you remember this, just half, just divide this by 2, you will get this figure. Okay, next one. Initiatives that were announced in this budget. First, let's look at the introduction that not prime minister, our finance minister made in her budget speech. She said that this budget is Yuva Shakti driven budget. Okay, so this statement is important. Okay, under this budget, government has made a sankalp, promise to take care of poor, underprivileged, and disadvantaged. Okay, so to deliver on this sankalp, government has decided 3 kartavyas, to-do list. Okay, kartavya is to-do list. So 3 kartavyas are there. First kartavya is to focus on economic growth and enhancing the productivity and competitiveness of the industries. Second kartavya is the capacity building, like training and education of the youth, so that they can make their contribution in the workforce. And in line with this, government, the Prime Minister has already announced that this Independence Day, he has announced that 1 crore people will be trained in AI. Okay, like that. Third kartavya is access to resources and opportunities and amenities for meaningful participation. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So everything that is generated, any benefit that is generated, in short, the benefits of development of this country should reach every person. Okay. Next, initiatives. What you need to remember? 3 kartavyas you have to remember. Anything can be asked. Okay. And this line, Yuva Shakti driven budget. Okay. Another important announcement was in the sector of fisheries, 500 reservoirs will be developed for fish cultivation. Okay, next one is that will strengthen the fisheries market and all these things. This figure is important. Animal husbandry sector will be developed by promoting the entrepreneurship. How they will promote entrepreneurship? By giving subsidy. Okay, credit link subsidy. So if you take loan, government will give you subsidy in that. Okay, either in the form of interest subvention or some back-ended subsidy. Okay, scaling up a modernization of livestock enterprises, encourage creation of livestock farmer producer organization. All these are the same thing. Okay, high value agriculture. Okay, the crop which fetch high value. Okay, they will be promoted. Okay, in coastal areas, coconut, sandalwood, and cocoa and cashew will be promoted. In northeast, agar trees will be promoted. You know what are agar trees? Just Google it. You will find. Hilly regions, nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and pine nuts will be promoted. Agar tree, important. Okay. What are the uses of this tree? You know. Next is Bharat Vistar. Bharat Vistar stands for Virtually Integrated System to Access Agricultural Resources. Okay, it is a step forward. Next step of agri-stake. Here, government will induce AI tools in agri-stakes. Okay, agri-stakes, you know, this is all about integrating every schemes and every initiative of the government and presenting it to the needy people in an easily understandable and accessible manner. Okay, individual verification, direct benefit transfer, like you do your UPI. UPI is also a kind of we can say the banking stake or like that. Okay, here also Aadhaar data will be fed into the system of the farmers, and all the data from different agriculture department like IMDs, agriculture ministries, animal husbandry ministries, everything will be integrated together so that they can interact with each other and be more beneficial to the farming community. So in this agri stakes, AI tools will also be used. Okay, all these things will definitely improve farmer productivity. You need to remember this one, the expansion of a star, and the more important thing, AI tool and agri stake. These three things you need to remember. Okay, the allocation to agri star is 150 crores, I think. Okay, that is important thing. Okay, okay. She-Mart. She-Mart is again a next step of Lakhpati Didi program, which itself is a part of DNRLM. Okay, and National Rural Livelihood Mission. What does it do? It encourages the women to form self-help groups and helps these women, these self-help groups, through banking credit to start their own livelihood enterprises. Okay, now so that they can earn income and become Lakhpati Didis. Okay, now if they have become Lakhpati Didis, now government wants them to sell them through She-Marts, self-help entrepreneurs mart. Okay, it is just like mall type. Okay, so here rural women's led enterprises will be eligible. So these She-Marts will be established, okay, and promoted. So what you need to remember, what does C stands for? Okay, and the DNRLM, it is linked with DNRLM and it is linked with the Lakhpati Didi program. Okay, now here are some other statistics. These are not that important. Fiscal deficit is important. Target for fiscal deficit this year is 4.3% of the GDP. Okay, what is fiscal deficit? See, for the benefit of the people, government presents a budget. Okay, and the money in that budget comes from taxes and other resources. Okay, some money comes from taxes, and some money government borrows from the banks and other lending institutions. That borrowed money, how much money government borrows, that is reflected in the fiscal deficit. Okay, so 16 lakh crore is the borrowed money this time. So this if you calculate it as percentage of GDP is 4.3. The target for this year is 4.3, and last year it was 4.4% of the total GDP. Always we need to reduce that. Okay? Government targets to reduce the borrowings, okay, or the liabilities. So this is important. These two figures are important. Okay. Next is out of the total budget that is 54 lakh crore. How much money comes from where? Okay, borrowings. 24% of the money that government is going to spend on you this year comes from loans and everything. Okay, borrowed money. Okay, and taxes. Others are taxes. Non-tax revenues. These are the bonds and everything that government sells in the market. Okay, GST and other taxes 15%. Excise due to income tax, it is 21%. These two are important, income tax and borrowed money. Actually, none of the data is important for your examination, but still they are the important data. Next one is how much money, where the government spend the money. Highest amount you can see from here, it is 22% here, I think. Here, state share of taxes. Okay, the total money that has government received through taxes and everything, out of that 22% will be reverted back to the states. Okay, out of the total budget, 22% of the 22% money will be reverted back to the state for their own development, how the state wants to invest. After that, interest payment is another a big chunk. You have taken loan, so you have to pay the interest. So 20% of the money goes in interest payment only. Other defense, other expenditures, and agriculture is there or not? No agriculture. So this is not that important. So that's all. This is all about the budget. We have studied the initiatives, allocations, and everything.